Luke 6. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous soul. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is the difference? And does matter, however, is when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name when no they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything. And there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yehoshua, died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. And a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yehoshua is Joshua, and I strongly believe that the son of Elohim's name, Yehoshua, means Yahweh is salvation. I can't tell if that was somebody honking the horn or if that was like a sound the car makes from pushing a button or something. Anyways, great interruption. What was it saying? Yes, I'll just say it over again, that one part. There was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic texts. Sorry, my mouth. First time with my new mouth. There was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yehoshua, died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. In a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yehoshua is Joshua, and I strongly believe that the son of Elohim's name, Yehoshua, means Yahweh is salvation. Maybe you should just go up to their door if you're going to honk the horn repeatedly. Come on. The horn is for emergencies, not for you to play with. Anyways, Luke 6. And it came to be on a Sabbath, on the second Sabbath after the first, it says, some manuscripts read 6a, that's the one that's on Sabbath. On a Sabbath, that he went through the grain fields, and his taught ones were plucking the heads of grain, and were eating, rubbing them with their hands. And some of the Pharisees said to them, why are you doing what is not right to do on the Sabbath? And Yehoshua answering them said, have you not read what David did when he was hungry, he and those who were with him? How he went into the house of Elohim, took and ate the showbread, and also gave some to those with him, which is not right for any but the priests to eat. And he said to them, the son of Adam is master of the Sabbath. I'm pretty sure MT is Matthew, but 12:8 is where it also says that. And it also came to be on another Sabbath that he entered into the congregation and taught, and there was a man whose right hand was withered, and the scribes and Pharisees were watching him closely whether he would heal on the Sabbath, for them to find an accusation against him. And he knew their thoughts, and said to the man who had the withered hand, rise and stand in the midst. And he rose up and stood. Then Yehoshua said to them, I ask you, is it right to do good on the Sabbath, or to do evil, to save life, or to destroy it? And looking around at them all, he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored sound as the other. But they were filled with folly, and were speaking with one another what they should do to Yehoshua. And in those days it came to be that he went out to the mountain to pray, and was spending the night in prayer to Elohim. And when it became day, he called near his taught ones, and chose from them 12, whom he also named emissaries, Emissaries. Shimon, whom he also named Kepha, and his brother Andre, Andri, Jacob, and Johanan, Philip, Philip, and Bartholomew, Bartholomai, Mattathiah, which is Matthew, Mattityahu, and Toma, T'Oma, Jacob the son of Alphai, Alphai, and Shimon, the one called the Ardent One, all capital, or not all capitals, but the Ardent, capital Ardent, and then one is capital One. Ardent One. Yehuda the son of Jacob, and Yehuda from Querioth, Querioth, who also became the betrayer. And coming down with them, he stood on a level place with a crowd of his taught ones and a great number of people from all Yehuda and Jerusalem, and from the coast country of Sor, Tsor, and Sidon, Tsid, with a line underneath of it, On, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases, and those who were troubled with unclean spirits is what I meant to say. And they were healed, and all the crowd were seeking to touch him, for power went out from him and healing them all. And he, lifting up his eyes toward his taught ones, said, Blessed are the poor, because yours is the reign of Elohim. See. It says that in both Jacob 2:5 and Isaiah 11:4. Blessed are you who hunger now, because you shall be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, because you shall laugh. Blessed are you when men shall hate you, and when they shall cut you off, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as wicked, for the sake of the Son of Adam. Rejoice in that day, and leap for joy, for look, your reward is great in the heaven, for that is how their fathers treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, because you are receiving your comfort. Woe to you who have been filled, because you shall hunger. Woe to you who are laughing now, because you shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when all men speak well of you, for thus their fathers did to the false prophets. But I say to you who are hearing, love your enemies, do good to those hating you, bless those cursing you, and pray for those insulting you, and to him who hits you on the one cheek offer the other also, and from him who takes away your outer garment do not withhold the inner garment either, and give to everyone who asks of you, and from him who takes away what is yours do not ask it back. And as you wish men should do to you, you also do to them in the same way. And if you love those loving you, what favor have you? For sinners too love those loving them. And if you do good to those doing good to you, what favor have you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you expect to receive back, what favor have you? For even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much back. Rather love your enemies and do good and lend, expecting none in return, and your reward shall be great, and you shall be sons of the Most High, because he is kind to the thankless and wicked ones. It says D. 5 Matthew 5:45 and MA, which I can't remember what that is. I want to say it's a Mark, could be mistaken, but 14:16 to 17. Therefore, be compassionate as your Father also is compassionate, and do not judge, and you shall not be judged at all. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned at all. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given to you, a good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over shall be put into your lap. And running over shall be put into your lap. For with the same measure with which you measure, it shall be measured back to you. And he spoke a parable to them. Is a blind able to lead a blind? Shall they not both fall into a pit? A taught one is not above his teacher, but everyone perfected shall be like his teacher. And why do you see the splinter in your brother's eye, but are not aware of the plank in your own eye? Or how are you able to say to your brother, Brother, let me take out the splinter that is in your own eye, not seeing the plank in your own eye? Hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to take out the splinter that is in your brother's eye. That actually reminds me, a lot of people are like, oh, you did it in the past, so you're being a hypocrite for not letting me do it. It's like, shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. It's only a hypocrite. Okay, listen. You're only a hypocrite if you still do the actions you're telling someone else not to do. You understand? For a good tree does not yield rotten fruit, nor does a rotten tree yield good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. Talking about people, good or evil, rotten or good. For each tree is known by its own fruit, for they do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they gather grapes from a bramble bush. Bramble. I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's the same thing like getting figs from a thorn bush. Nor do you gather grapes from a bramble bush. The good man brings forth what is good out of the good treasure of his heart, and the wicked man brings forth what is wicked out of the wicked treasure of his heart. For out of the overflow of the heart his mouth speaks. But why do you call me Master, Master, and do not do what I say? Everyone who is coming to me and is hearing my words and is doing them, I shall show you whom he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid a foundation on the rock, and when a flood came, the stream burst against that house, but was unable to shake it, for it was founded on the rock. But the one hearing and not doing is like a man who built a house on the earth without a foundation, against which the stream burst, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Interesting. Now, there's another part in here I wanted to talk about. Oh yes, this one here, 38, where it says, give, and it shall be given to you, a good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over shall be put into your lap. For with the same measure with which you measure, it shall be measured to you. And it's talking about judgment. People like to use this as an excuse to just, keep doing the crap that they're doing because, well, if I'm judgmental, then it'll get used against me. Like, yeah, but if you also don't follow what YahWeh says, it'll be used against you, and you know what it talks about when it comes to all that garbage. Don't do it. If someone's being a pedophile and you catch them in the act, again, going before a legal system, like a just legal system, and I don't live in a just legal system. I was never born into a just legal system, trust me. People are too greedy for a just legal system, but anyways, you take them before the courts try them, they execute them. Justice. You take matters into your own hands. It's no longer justice. Now you're committing murder. But to be honest, if you choose to go, well, I don't want to be judged that way, so I'm just gonna let this guy go or girl go, because pedophiles are both male and female. They're not just male. I don't know who came up with that stupid idea that they were just men. There's plenty of pedophile females out there. Take Hillary Clinton, for instance, and it's only defamation of character if I'm lying about it, and I'm not lying about it. If you do nothing when evil is before you, literally harming other people, then you're a coward. It's like watching somebody get bullied and just decide, well, you know what? I've bullied before, so I'm just going to let it continue. It's like, no, that's not at all what this says. Hatred begets hatred, violence begets violence, and terrorism begets terrorism. Like it says, the people that are like that, when they stop being like that, it will immediately turn around and they will be the victims of their own actions. But for that Hillary Clinton thing there, in case people are like, well, it's still defamation of character because you have no proof that she's a pedophile, even though there's literally I think it was 75 gigabytes of email. That's a lot, because I don't know if you've noticed, but you can have a lot of emails and still be under a gig. She had 75 gigabytes of emails that were literally just seriously implicating her in a lot of pedophilia crimes. Not to mention her signature is on the flight records of what do you call that airplane? Jeffrey Epstein's airplane, the one that went to Orgy Island, which is also known as Pedophile Island. Lolita Express, that's what it's called. It's called the Lolita Express. Her name is on the flight record for the flight records of Lolita Express. Proves she is a pedophile. Because that same despicable, disgusting activity that happens at Orgy Island happens on that plane. In fact, the only way you would ever get on that plane is if you were a pedophile. Anyways, Jeffrey Epstein got murdered by an ex-cop, so... I mean, not murdered, technically justified killing. I would consider it a justified killing, to be honest. If you're a murderer, a pedophile, proven rapist, not just, I woke up one morning, realized I was with an ugly dude, so I just said he raped me. Yeah, no. And I think people who do that stuff, they should also get the death penalty. But yeah, death penalty for treason, which is only against the people, not against the corporations. Which means if you're a policy officer, you should really think about respecting the Constitution or just expect to be called a Nazi. Because it was the Nazis that didn't respect the Constitution of the people. They just did as they were told, following orders, executing people whenever they were told to do so. Hit lists. Like the Stalin hit list. They're like, oh, Stalin and Hitler, they're not the same. No. Stalin was a communist. First of all, Stalin was not a communist. He was a fascist. Very different thing. You know how I know he was a fascist? Because he was executing everyone that didn't agree with what he believed in. That's what fascism is. But I would execute people who don't respect the Constitution. I would execute pedophiles, rapists, murderers, cops who don't respect the Constitution, death penalty. Anyone who's in a corporate, this Twitter thing, they're like, oh, we're a private organization, we don't have to follow the Constitution. I'm sorry, but the Constitution is the supreme law of that country. So yes, you do actually have to follow that law. You have to follow the law of the country you're in. Too bad. You don't want to do that? Well, face the death penalty. I feel like I would pull a Hitler style thing, but it wouldn't be like gassing or something like that. I would just straight up shoot you in the streets. Like, wow, you're a pedophile? Dead. Nobody likes you. Oh, you murdered a bunch of people? Oh, there would be no slap on the wrist. Oh, and drunk drivers? Death penalty. None of this slap on the wrist crap. Quit wasting our tax dollars by giving people life sentences. Just kill them. People think that's just like over the top though. But I mean, like, seriously. They're seriously wasting our tax dollars. Not to mention we're letting these pieces of garbage back out onto the street to keep doing it again. Ah, and you call me a crazy. You're insane. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I'm telling you, these are the only way to fix those results. Kill them. They had a chance. When you violate the Constitution, you give up your right to life. Like when Trudeau's dad took away the right to bear arms so that we could no longer defend ourselves, and they made this the Canadian Bill of Rights and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms Act literally stripped us of our basic rights, and they gave these corporations those rights. Those rights are only for the rich and well connected. That there's a reason why. Anyways, I just no. I won't get in too much into it because this is supposed to be the Bible, and I know I talk a lot about politics and all that stuff. I'm very political. Your rights are very political. People who don't think rights are political are fools. Literal fools who do not know what they're talking about. Anyways, don't want to make it too long. I mean, it's already 21 minutes, 22 minutes. Anyways, have a good night.